you've been talking about threads and Threadcast a little bit, but might be able to dive a little deeper because I saw, and I was curious about it too, but I saw Task was asking, kind of what's in the forefront or even in your thought process of, how to continue to improve and expand the Threadcast as a platform.
Yeah, for Threadcasts. So I mentioned one feature, which is, obviously AI powered, which is to kind of like read the Threadcast and then like pick out certain ones that are based on, some type of format or, general concept, like a question, say which ones are questions and which ones are not. So that's going to be like a major change. I've had a few other ideas for Threadcast, and I actually think I mentioned them last week. Um, but I think one of the major, I think like a good framework for it is to start looking at Threadcast as like a Twitch TV chat. And that's really the direction that I want to take things. Where you've got reactions, you're able to tip the creator. I've been even thinking about certain things like if a Threadcast reaches a certain amount of comments, then the creator will get like some type of upvote from Leo.voter, so that they earn more rewards, something like that. So there's a lot of different ideas that are floating out there. Obviously, like being able to pin threads, having the author able to pin various threads to the top of their Threadcast, I think is going to be one of the next things that we roll out. Which obviously is a good thing. Like, for example, with this Threadcast, I shared the links at the beginning. But obviously now if you want to go find those links, you have to scroll all the way to the end of the Threadcast, or change the sorting method to oldest, if you want to go find those links. But if you if you have the ability to pin, then you could just say like, all right, well, I've created the links for this Threadcast, and now I'm going to pin that as like the second thread in my Threadcast. So now it would be like at the top for everybody to see. Another thing I want to do is allow you to like embed a live stream. So I've talked about that as well. That one's a little more complex. We're gonna really have to dive in deep and try to figure that out. But imagine that you could embed like the YouTube. So like right now we're live on YouTube. Imagine if you could embed that YouTube video directly in the Threadcast so that you can just kind of keep it popped out, in the bottom right, and then you could stay on the Threadcast page. So yeah, a bunch of features like that. But I think Threadcasts are really a killer feature for us, especially as we, Eric and I, and maybe this is a good transition into some marketing stuff, but Eric and I have been working a lot on, onboarding influencers and looking externally for new users. So, Eric's been going pretty deep on reaching out to people and trying to get them onboarded. And I think Threadcasts are, I've said this for a long time. I think Threadcasts are a really good way to onboard these people, especially the ones that do like a lot of them do like a weekly X space. So I definitely think we should be leveraging Threadcast to get these people over, especially because X currently doesn't have a good chat feature when you're live on X. When you're doing a space, the chat feature actually kind of sucks. So this is like a good opportunity for us to tap in and start getting that audience. And even when X comes out with some sort of chatting feature, which I'm sure they will, Threadcast will probably be a lot further ahead than where we are now. Like I said, being used more like a Twitch chat with, gifting, tipping, reactions. Obviously you've got upvoting naturally, and all the other features that the AI stuff, all the other features that we're working on. So I think that Threadcasts are a really good leverage point for us to get more people in.
Yeah. Big Van is saying the increase on Threadcast with several topics covered on them is directly increasing engagement rate. Exactly. Engagement brings engagement. And if someone new or someone with some sort of any kind of follower base, they come and see there's people here, there's like the problem with crypto projects in general is that they go live for 3 months and then they go dead for a year or 4 years if they survive, and then they go live again, etc., etc. But if they see that Inleo is alive and thriving, and there's a lot of people, and people actually pay for premium, and the flywheel works, etc., etc., then the ecosystem, by being successful and active, will bring in more people or will make these people stay. So yeah, you're totally right, Big Fan.
Yeah, success begets more success. I think that's a pretty clear trend in society and business in general. Ahmad Manga said never encountered any bugs today. Yeah, and I saw a couple others who said that they haven't been encountering bugs lately. So, like I said, we're pretty much at the, you know, kind of the edge of the bug fixing. Like it's mostly just edge cases that are left, which are a lot harder for us to fix because we basically have to recreate the entire experience of a particular user. So, you know, you could really, especially when it comes to Android, you could really be on any type of device, you know, of any year, with various versions of software, with various browser types. So at the end of the day, like catching these edge cases is going to be really difficult, which is also why it's really important when you guys do report bugs. That's why a lot of times I'll ask you for more details, because if it's reported with screenshots and even console logs and stuff like that, we can actually a lot of times fix bugs without even reproducing them ourselves, because we can just see all the information we need to from your perspective, and fix those bugs. So that's why when bug reports are really detailed, I'm able to get those fixed a lot faster than, you know, for example, when people say, you know, XYZ is not working, and that's like the extent of what they're saying. That makes it a lot harder because now we have to go out and recreate exactly what happened to you in the exact setting in order to fix that. So just a PSA to you know, make really detailed feedback reports if possible. Task said pinning threads would be great. We could use it for segmentation. Opens up new possibilities for data within a threadcast. Yeah, I think pinning will be really cool. And the idea I have for pinning is also so that the author can only pin one thread, as like it only pins, because this is an issue I'm already kind of thinking about, which is that if an author wants to pin 5 threads, well, now the threadcast looks kind of strange because you've got 6 threads at the top from the author, and then you have to scroll all the way below those to see the real-time threads. So my idea for this is to actually have a carousel. So the author may be able to pin, say, 5 threads max, but when they pin those 5 threads, they're all in the size of one thread, and then you swipe horizontally in order to see the rest. So it's more of a carousel feature rather than allowing like all these threads to get stacked on top of each other and kind of bury the actual thread cast. So I think that'll be a pretty cool implementation that you guys will like.